Hi guys, I am doing a live. Let's see, welcome to chat. Okay, there's some message on there. I was just recording a video and I thought I'd do a live because my phone is set up. Yes, I record on my phone. Keep it simple, right? Um, so I wanted to make a live video because I wanted to just casually talk to you guys about something that I've been really wanting to stress, and what that is your I am affirmations. And I don't mean that you're setting time aside to do the affirmations. I don't mean that it's like a ritual. I'm talking about like throughout the day. Like throughout the day, you are actually I aming all day long. I am is who you are. It is your being. You can't not be using I am throughout the day. Yes, it's very important what you um, think about yourself and what you feel about yourself before you sleep also. But remember, this is really all day long. There's no time that doesn't um, present the opportunity and the automatic just fact that we are always feeling something about ourselves. We're always deciding something about ourselves. So if they say 95% of your thoughts are the same as they were yesterday because they're automatic thoughts, 5% is what you really have that ability to control through your conscious thinking. So use that. Use that to decide who you are now. Um, I wish I could see who's on, but I have, like, I don't know, I'm doing like this the horizontal thing on my phone and I can't see if anyone's writing anything, but I will check the messages later, I promise you, and I will respond if there are any. um, Hi, if you're just joining. So yeah, your I ams, you are I aming all day long. What you're feeling about yourself in any moment is your I am. If you're feeling down about yourself, or if you're feeling down about somebody else, that's an I am, because you are being something in that moment. You're feeling something in that moment. Um, it doesn't matter if you're thinking about the past or the future or the present. If you're worried, then you are a worried person. And a worried person is someone who is not stable in all his ways, right? Like Neville says, if it says in the Bible, it says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So you can't um, you can't just like assume an I am in any moment, or assume the feeling of an I am. That is not who you want to be, and then be surprised um, when things of that nature show up for you. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect in your thinking, but practice makes perfect, and perfect doesn't mean that it's 100% all the time. We're human beings, but when you do have that moment of that, you become conscious of what you're doing in your mind, and just switch it. Sometimes we're so drawn to feeling bad, and sometimes it seems like you're in it and you can't get out of it. And I understand that. I know what depression is too. I know how you just think this is what you are now in this moment, and you have no control over it. But every moment is an I am for you. Every thought is an I am. If you're thinking let's get really practical here, right? Because I can talk on and on forever, but until you know how to practically apply this anytime, it's really of no use to you, right? So let's say you are having lunch. It's your lunch break at work, let's say, and let's say you're eating by yourself. You have a moment to yourself. What is going on in your mind? Because you might think that you're not thinking anything, you're just eating, but there is something going on in your mind. And if it's not something that you're aware of, then be open to being aware of it and just notice how you feel. You don't have to analyze your thoughts. That's not really what this is about. It's just about understanding how you feel. So if your shoulders are tense, when you're sitting there eating, if you're in a rush, if you feel tense and not at ease, then that's who you're being. That's what your I am is. Now, I am isn't just words or word affirmations. It's not just that, it's feeling. You are who you feel you are, right? So just be conscious of it. And it's such an excellent opportunity in any moment to be mindful of who you're being in that moment, who you're pretending to be. I don't mean as in like tricking yourself of who you are, but who you are prepaving yourself to be. Because any thought that you are allowing to exist in your thought or feeling you're allowing to exist in your being is what you are inviting to build momentum on. And if you're not even aware that you're tense or maybe not feeling great about yourself, or if you're bitter towards something else and you feel hopeless, or you feel helpless, or you feel anger towards something, then you have in that moment the opportunity to switch it. Um, it can be done. You can do it. It doesn't take as much effort as you think. If you don't do it the first time because it seems too far from where you're vibrating now, then that's fine. Just leave it and then approach it again next time. We think that we either succeed or fail at something, especially in a moment. We're so quick to judge. But when in that moment you actually try to, oh, I don't have my light on. Hey, look, I have a light. Woohoo! There you go. So if in that moment you open yourself up to the opportunity of feeling different about yourself, or just feeling different in general, and it doesn't work, you feel like it didn't work, and you just go along your day, that didn't go to waste. That reaching, like Abraham would say, reaching for that feeling, even if you think you didn't actually catch that feeling, it doesn't mean that it went to waste. That actually makes a difference. Because guess what? When you reach for it next time or the time after that, it will actually be easier to access those better feeling thoughts. And it's not about just positivity. It's about understanding who you're defining yourself as in that moment. So if you're feeling like you don't have money and you don't have access to things, that's who you're being, and that's your I am. And that is defining the next step for you. That's defining the channels that are open to you and closing to you. If you feel poor, if you feel like you're poor, you can't attract riches and abundance. And we know that this is an abundant universe. So if you feel impoverished, then you will attract an abundance of poverty, if you want to see it that way. But yeah, you can't feel like you don't have money and then attract money. It just doesn't happen. And you can look around you and say, but look, all the facts. I don't have access to anything. I can't do this, I can't do that. I can't even hang out with I can't even invite people over my house because I don't have money, to like have an event. I can't have birthday parties. I can't go to someone's house because sometimes you just can't go places because you don't have that confidence, that you don't have the money in case you need something or in case you want to take something. Those are all like very basic, like normal, practical things that people go through, and everything, even those like ridiculous sounding things, are an opportunity to change your I am. Even if you feel like you are limited and can't do something that you would want to do in that moment or in that day, assume that you did do it. Assume that you are doing it. Prepare yourself emotionally as if it's very normal and you are doing it. And before you sleep at night, revise your day. Like Neville says, revise your day to be exactly how you want to paint that day to have been. Because if you allow yourself to feel as though that already happened, you will notice that it feels natural to your body. Okay, so the messages do pop up. Hi, Michael. So what are the steps to assuming? It's, I could tell you like other people, often do, like there are, 3 steps or 5 steps to assuming. Exactly. You just assume. You just assume, and I'll explain this. I'll explain it because you are already just assuming that you don't have access to this thing that you want. You're already assuming that this is not who you are. And you don't want to lie, because we don't want to lie in life. If someone says, hey, how are you doing? Yeah, I can say, hey, I'm great, even though you're not, or I'm good, but you're not feeling good. Okay, but when someone starts asking detailed questions, you don't want to lie to them, right? But in your mind, when you're living with yourself throughout your day, what are you telling yourself? What are you being within yourself? What are you allowing and assuming about yourself and about your reality. You can assume something the same way that you assume what you don't like. So if someone, let's say, okay, we were talking about money. So let's say with money, if someone says, hey, we're gonna go to the Caribbean and with the family, do you guys want to come? So what you would in that moment feel is bad because you cannot afford to take your family to the Caribbean um, to have a nice vacation together with your friends or family. Um, put that aside in that moment. If you can't go, that's fine. In that moment, just instead of assuming, yeah, right, that's impossible, I have absolutely no way of seeing how that's possible, just put that obviousness of it not being possible aside for just a moment. And what would it be like if you had the access and the opportunity to join them? What is it like to be that you who can say, that sounds good. Let me see if we can work it out. Because, first of all, when you don't have the money to do something, especially something that seems really out of reach, the first thing you assume is, I can't do it because of the money, right? That's actually not the only reason you can't do it. There are people who have easily can afford it, but guess what? They still have to check their schedule. They still have to check with their other family members to see if they can go. So think of those aspects. Skip over the hurdle of I can't afford it and explore the other areas that would have to kind of be aligned, and assume that all those things are being worked out. Assume that you already have the money. Now you're gonna call your wife or husband or your kids if they're grown and say, hey, are you free these days because the Smiths are going to Aruba and they want us to go with them. Do you think we can work it out? Have those conversations in your mind and feel natural about it. And it seems ridiculous when you can't even afford to take your family out to dinner. It seems ridiculous to be considering things like that, to be exploring things like that in your mind. But that's why Neville said, reason impudence. You need to completely put aside reasoning and logic. Because if you go by reasoning and logic, you will keep attracting the same things in your life that you have been either all your life or all these recent years that you've been vibrating this way. I hope that makes sense. So assume that it's possible. It's so foreign at first. I know that. It's so foreign. It feels like, let's see, Michael, you're saying, Michael, so it's like a realization feeling like you just decide your outcome. You decide your outcome and you allow yourself, it feels like a huge realization in that moment because you feel like, whoa, this is possible? I thought my life is just about limitation and lack right now because I, either have not done enough to deserve more income, or I'm not lucky enough to have more income. I work hard, but I just can't work hard enough. There aren't enough hours in the day to work that many hours to be able to afford these things. You are now realizing that your potential is far beyond your ability of how much you can make hourly. Your potential in any given moment. And I'm not talking about a future self. You have to see this as your current being. Who you're being right now is so past who you think you are. Sorry, who you actually are now, like your actual inner being and what you have, potential you have that you can actually create right now. It's far beyond who you ever thought you are. It's far beyond take someone who you really admire, someone who's accomplished a lot, maybe someone you don't really particularly admire, but think about like people who people have a lot of money, sure. Also people who have a lot of money and are happy, people who are in great relationships. Take all those things and realize that your potential is not only that, but far beyond that. Because even though that person has created so much great stuff in their life, even that is not the potential that is in all of us. you're gonna have to practice that understanding because it's so far removed and foreign from what you've been practicing. Jeff, thank you. You're welcome. Harmony, how accurate do you make your scenes before you sleep? Okay, how accurate do I make my scenes before I sleep? Um, Accurate but short. Be as detailed, clothe it with sensory vividness, include your sense of smell. Oh, I just missed Michael's message. Let me see. Okay, there we go. So I have Michael. So I have a huge bill, and I don't know where the money will come from. So me assuming that it will be paid off, or it's already on the way to go and walk in faith. Yes, sometimes easier said than done, right, Michael? Hi, Lisa. This is so cool. So yeah, yes, you will assume that it's paid, and it seems preposterous at first. It seems so foreign. It seems not real. It seems like, yeah, right, it's paid, or yeah, right, it's taken care of. But just repeat to yourself, it's taken care of. I am taken care of. I am taken care of. I am doing enough, and I'm taken care of. You need to repeat that, and you need to um, soothe yourself. That's really something I want to focus on today. I'm glad that you asked that question, Michael, and I'm glad that I thought of that phrase because you really need to soothe yourself. And just like when you were a child, maybe you had nice, Lisa. So just like when you were a child and you had maybe a grandparent who was there to soothe you, when you were crying or when you fell, when there was someone to soothe you, that's really what you can do for yourself. And that's really part of the whole process because when you feel it real for something, when you live in the end, what does that do? That provides huge relief. And it's so foreign from what you're used to, but it really does provide huge relief. And what that does is it soothes you because you want to not feel that tension in your body. You want to actually be relieved of this weight on your shoulders, of this problem that you have, this thing that you want that you don't have, or this thing that you have that you don't want. So soothe yourself. Yeah. Hi Tella. So yeah, just soothe yourself. It's not just about in that moment being soothed. It will change the path of where you're going and what you're attracting. One major thing I'm interested in as well is live in the end until you sleep period. How do you know? Let me pull that message up again. Let's see, so I can read all of it. How do you know it's done? Okay, so the living in the end, if you're doing that at nighttime, I'm gonna tap this away. Sorry. So if you're doing the living in the end at night, now living in the end is something you really want to just carry on with you throughout the day. Any new self-concept you're carrying, it is basically you becoming the new man. So you don't want to just do it one part of the day. You can, and you can accomplish that feeling in one moment of the day and even not do it for several days, but let that, I think it was Neville who wrote something like this. He said, carry it around you like a perfume throughout the day. So when you create that feeling, when you're living in the end, when you're sleeping, and if you think you're not capturing that feeling of the end as you're falling asleep, just go back to it again whenever you feel like it. Never be hard on yourself. Never feel like, I don't know if I did it or didn't do it. Just be like, I got something out of that. If you feel like you got something out of that, just a little bit of soothing, a little bit of ease from that moment, then that's perfectly fine. Just add on to it next time. And eventually, or pretty quickly, you'll notice that my body feels more relaxed now than it did when I first laid down and started feeling this way. So it's not always a black and white thing of like, oh, I'm gonna not have this thing that I want, and then when I lay down, I'm gonna feel I have it, and then it's gonna be like a switch. Sometimes it feels that way, but a lot of times it doesn't. A lot of times it's just about the balancing of the scale. It might be like you may not even notice because it's so subtle that you before felt like the old man and now you are the new man. But you will notice it from evidence throughout the day. And what happens throughout the day, sometimes right away in the morning when you wake up, is that there will be evidence of the immediate answer might come to you. And this has happened to me so many times. You fall asleep asking for something, being open to it, even just feeling like in your mind, if you can feel like Florence Scovel Shin says, avalanches of abundance are coming to me. You know, if it even, it doesn't matter if it's not about abundance, just if you can imagine something coming to you in such abundance and it feels so good and you fall asleep that way, you will very possibly even wake up to the answer to your problem. I have a lot of questions here. I'm going to see if I can scroll up to get them. I don't know, maybe ask Mr. 2020 and Victoria if they want to collab. I can always do a video with them. Maybe I'll get in touch with them. We're actually in the same Facebook group called Neville Goddard's Teachings, which is cool if you like Facebook. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, use sensory vividness, but just a short time. You'll be amazed that if you just get a vivid feeling through your senses, imaginary senses, for just a small moment of that experience that you want, that's enough. Doesn't take that long to do it, and don't worry about any rules. Let's see. This is like my first actual long live, so hey Hazard, hi from Los Angeles. Sometimes I wake up like I didn't feel it through, but I think you mean just feeling it in a relaxed state, making it the last thing was heavily focused on before sleeping. Yeah, and focus on it as the thing you want, not the lack of it. It's not just about focusing on the subject of it. Make sure you're feeling the having of it. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I would do a live with Lyndall, maybe, but definitely I have to get in touch with him. I've been procrastinating calling him, and I should. Let's see. Yeah, so back to assuming. Yeah, the law of assumption is really, it's so funny because so many parts of Neville's teachings or Abraham teachings, it's like any tidbit you can take from it. You could say, this is everything. This encapsulates all the the information I ever need. If I just could remember this, I would have all I need. And it's funny because all parts of the teachings seem to be that, and it's really true. And that's really a beautiful part of it, is that you can take something small from a teaching and just use that for months at a time, and don't read anything else. Just keep using that, apply it over and over, apply it for 2 days straight, and it would be amazing, the changes you would see. And I want to touch on something, and I know that at least one person who's here will benefit from this, is stop trying so hard. Stop trying so hard, because that's not the way you get something in your life that you want to attract. If you want a life of ease, if you want something in your life that you really want, and you feel like you don't have it and you're frustrated because it's not happening, just let it come with ease. And I know this is so I want to say counterintuitive for what we've been trained, but it's not counterintuitive to who we actually are, because we've been trained, right, to be if something's important to you, then you have to make sure it works out. You have to be on top of it. You have to be responsible, take care of your vibration, take care of whatever needs to be done. Have good work ethic, just like work ethic that we think about work, we want to apply that to manifesting, but it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't work that way. You have to just be at ease, whatever it takes for you to be at ease on the topic. You have to accept that I don't know what the evidence is showing me right now, and it doesn't matter. All that matters is that right now, how I want to feel. And you might say, oh, but in this moment that I'm feeling ease, maybe this person or the money or whatever is being repelled by me, and how do I know that I'm not taking care of it? So how do I know it's being done? It's the complete opposite. As you're trying hard to work on a manifestation, you're actually pushing it away. That's why it's not going to show up in that moment. And it might show up later only because you release that tension about it and you're not kind of suffocating it. You have to think of it as holding like a baby chick. You know how they say, like, when you hold a baby chick, you can't squeeze it because the eyes will bug out and you might kill it too. So just when you hold a baby chick, hold it very lightly. You know, be very gentle. That is how you manifest. And I'm not saying be afraid of it, but just be light about it. Have fun with it. Everything will come to you when you're having fun. Everything opens, all the channels open, all the possibilities, all the orchestration of it happens so much quicker than you think it can even ever happen when you were just at ease. I don't know. You guys have any other questions? I think it's slowed down, so I might wrap this up. I think I will do lives more often because it's pretty fun. Oh, I have more. Yeah. Okay, my finger's in the camera, sorry. Yeah, dancing around is good. It's funny because I heard that. I don't know with this whole like, oh, my leg just fell asleep. So I heard that like shamans, when they're learning, or I don't know how the process goes for that, but it says that one of the questions that they're taught to ask people if they're depressed, I think one of the 3 questions is, when's the last time you've danced? So yeah, dancing is one way to definitely release tension. And you know, while you're dancing, consider it a celebratory dance for what you're trying to manifest. And I know it sounds kind of like totally out there, but dance in celebration and let like the adrenaline like go, like feel the feelings and let the hormones rush as though you're celebrating that it's happened. A lot of this brazen impudence stuff is about letting yourself feel ridiculous for just a little bit of time, but it shows up right away. Yeah, I have a giant hand because it's really close to the camera. Let's see. So, let's see. Yes, and okay, Star God's Sound Healing is saying law of reversibility. So, yeah, let's touch on Neville Goddard's law of revision. And I was talking about that a little bit earlier in this video. Thank you, guys. Wow, okay, this is really cool, and there's a lot of people on here. So yeah, I'll just leave off with this, the law of revision. I've already mentioned be at ease about things, because things will come to you when you give up only because you've let go of the idea that I have to work hard for this. So when you go to sleep at night, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. I never spend that much time doing this. I just let myself feel relaxed. I relax my shoulders, my muscles, and when I'm laying down, and I just go throughout the day. I just reflect on the day, and if there was something that happened that I didn't want to happen, or in a way that I didn't want it to happen, or if something didn't happen that I wanted to happen, I just revise it into my day. I revise it into my day. And what that does is, yes, it soothes you because it makes you feel like, oh, okay, I did get what I wanted. Constantly remind yourself. That's why Abraham has the rampage of it's done, it's done, it's done. It's all the same thing. The whole point of all these things is to change your feeling of I am. And that was the point of this live. All these techniques, all the exercises, the approaches, the living in the end, it's to change your feeling of I am. So if you're going to sleep as the person who just lived a day that you might have wanted to be different, whether a little different or very different, it doesn't matter. It's just as easy for God or the universe to bring us what we do want. That seems big as something small, right? So relive that day in your mind, revise it. You don't have to go through the whole day and revise it. Just revise the parts, or the part where it would have happened the way you wished for it to happen, and accept that, yeah, that happened to me. That's natural to me, and let it feel natural. Just invite it to feel natural. If you're having a hard time with that, it's because you're trying too hard. Just let it come to you, because this power that we have is not a forceful power. It's just a force of its own, and everything is easy for it. So you know you're harnessing the power when things feel easy. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me just check the last few messages. Let's see here. Okay. Glam Girl Next Door, thank you. I appreciate your appreciation. Thanks, Lisa, for believing in me. Thanks. What can you say about health? Okay. Revise it. So I said I was going to leave off on health. I said I was going to leave off on revision. Revise the stories of your health. Do not repeat your story of pain and suffering. Don't repeat it to other people. Don't repeat it to, and I'm not saying like suppress that feeling. Just accept that that is not who you are anymore. You are now clothing yourself as the new you. Now that you are the new you, you can't tell any story about pain and suffering while actually feeling pain and suffering. The whole I remember when thing is because you're able to tell about a time of difficulty, a time of lack, from the perspective of now having ease and abundance. And let's see. Is revision of financial freedom almost the same as doing the standard scene where you celebrate being financially free? It's not completely different. Certainly it's not completely different. The only difference I'd say is that you're attaching it to something that was not that and now changing it to that. So it's essentially just, revision will be just when you specifically choose an event that defined that I didn't have the financial freedom to do something or to be that version of myself, and now I'm changing it that I did have. So for example, like I said before, if someone is going to Aruba and says, hey, come along, bring your family, we'll all have a good time there. It's basically, before you sleep, just revise, even though you have absolutely no idea. Let's say you've lived on welfare your entire life, okay? Let's say you live in the project. It doesn't matter. If you have that brazen impudence to fall asleep, assuming that when they invited you, you said, that sounds kind of good. I kind of want to go. Let me see if it'll work out with the family. Let me see if, whatever. Let me see what preparations I have to do. Let me make sure my passport, let me make sure my passport is up to date. Does it have to be renewed? What do I have to do before I get there? Assume the things that block you, that you think are blocking you, are only reflections of of what you're doing in your consciousness. That is it. So, as ridiculous as it seems, just revise the conversation as though you did not automatically have to turn it down. You didn't automatically feel bad about not being able to go, but you thought, yeah, maybe I can go, and then entertain the thoughts. And then now you can assume that you're excited about going. Now you can assume that it's probably going to work, that you're going to go. It sounds absolutely foreign. It sounds absolutely foreign. It feels like a joke. You feel like you're kidding yourself. It will feel that way at first. And Neville says this. He says, at first it will seem like it's not real. But after a few times, persevere. And it will feel natural to you. Another one of my favorite quotes from Neville is, feeling it real is like learning to ride a bike. It might be wobbly at first, but eventually you'll be just fine. You'll do just fine. Let's see. Yes, J.K. Rowling assumed that like attracts like. Yep. Okay. So if they asked you to come to Aruba and you said no due to financial, you would revise the day to one where you said yes. No, you wouldn't say yes, I'm financially free, because when you're financially free, you don't think that way. You just think, that whatever opportunity comes to you, that you have that freedom to do it. So you don't think, yes, I'm financially free. First, you think I'm financially free. You assume that in that moment, and then you go through the conversation in your mind. Today's Neville's birthday. Oh, is it? Oh yeah, he's born in February. That's right. Woohoo! Happy birthday, Neville. That is so cool. Oh, and look here. For his birthday, you guys can see again. I'm such a nerd. I am such a nerd. Look, his signature. Oh, there we go. Neville, happy birthday. Thank you for everything. Let's see here. Okay. Consciousnesses. Thank you, Sai Harsha. I don't know if I just ruined your name. I have a hard one too, I know, but thank you for letting me know it was Neville's birthday today. Consciousness is everything, and all there is kind of scary when you think about it too much, but don't think about it too much. It's natural. Let's see. All right, cool. So I have to wrap up, but I will do this again soon. Honestly, like I think I might do lives instead of videos because it's so much more interesting and natural to me, I think. So I will see you guys maybe next week. I do have 2 more Lindell audios to upload. I know it takes a long time. It's just that when I convert the file and then I upload it onto YouTube, for some reason my computer takes an hour and like 50 minutes to upload it and I can't touch it. So yeah, I need some like maybe new technology, but okay, cool. Thank you. All right. Take care, Jerome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Yeah, love Lindell. Again, I have to call Lindell. I've been putting that off too. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you guys. I will do another live next week. Another thing, I'm writing a book. I should probably make another video about that. But yes, remember your I ams and have a great day, night, wherever you are. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.